Become a patron at www.patreon.com/Golden Era Bookworm for hard to find books, scans of rare photos, and articles on the Golden Era of bodybuilding. Hi everybody, Golden Era Bookworm here. Today I would like to continue talking about the supine press, otherwise known as the floor press, and how it was adapted and used in the Silver Era to develop strength in the bench press, and the subsequent massive upper body development often seen with the use of the floor press from the Silver Era legends. In a recent article I read, and I've actually uploaded this on my Patreon, for those of you that join can actually have the benefit of reading the full article. This article was actually written by AAU 1946 Mr. America champ Alan Steffen. And Alan details in this article an amazing program which I really think is a great Silver Era secret, where you incorporate the use of the supine press, which I will detail today. This program, when followed, should yield increases in tendon and ligament strength in the upper body musculature, which should translate into increased poundages used in the bench press, and therefore an increase in the development of the upper body pushing muscles. Alan Steffen claims to have used this in his own career, and at the time he was a real bench press champion, as shown in his photo, where he was competing for the bench press competition in the Mr. America competition. If it's recommended by such a great champ as Alan Steffen, I'm sure that it will do wonders. So let's have a look at this amazing program recommended by the Mr. America champ Alan Steffen. One of the Silver Era secrets that I've recently come across is how to tackle the problem of improving your bench press without the use of a power rack. And this can be very difficult to understand at first, especially when you don't understand the factors that basically lead to an improved bench press. We need to break it down. The first and most important factor is to develop the strength and the size of the pushing muscles, using, of course, progressive resistance, slowly increasing the weight that is used in the movement. But the trick lies not only in increasing the poundage used, but in also increasing the range of motion slowly over time. This is absolutely critical. This allows one to tackle the weak points in the kinetic chain of the bench press movement. What I mean is, we need to use different range of motions to tackle the three major muscles that are used in the bench press, as well as their associated tendons and ligaments, namely the triceps first, the shoulder second, and finally the chest. Now, by progressively increasing the range of motion, we can improve the strength and the size of the triceps, then the size and strength of the deltoids, and now we reinforce the pattern of the bench press. We make the assistant musculature stronger, which finally allows for the strengthening and the development of the bench press and therefore the chest musculature. It is a really intelligent way of reinforcing, firstly, everything that is needed to perform the bench press to finally perform it with all out power. It's fantastic. So now that we've addressed the major factors that are important in improving the bench press, we need to ask the question, well, which exercises allow for the progressive increase of both poundage or resistance and the range of motion? Well, this is where the floor press comes into play. Now, Alan Steffen recommends working on increasing the poundage and the repetitions in the prone press first while you're on the floor. And then you would move on to the bench press in a new cycle where you would increase the poundage as well. You would actually start with the poundage, the original or initial commencing poundage that you used in the floor press. And when you reach your limit in the bench press, you now start a new cycle of exercising now with the incline press. And again, you would use the commencing poundage from the bench press. When you come to a halt in the incline press, you would then move back to the floor press. And what usually happens is that you will find that because with each exercise you progressively increase the range of motion, you return now to the floor press, and you find that you handle much more poundage than when you started. And this is mainly because you've slowly increased the range of motion over time, and you've slowly allowed your body to increase its strength over a greater range of motion over time. And so therefore, when you return back to a shorter range of motion, which is the floor press, you find you have incredible power. And of course, the floor press works on your triceps, whereas the bench press and the incline press, because of the increased range of motion, begins to work more on your shoulder strength. So it's a very, very intelligent way of tackling the problem of increasing the bench press. Now, I thought I would go one step further and illustrate the program that was recommended by Alan Steffen, and this is just gold. It really is. To me, it's gold. I call it the Varying Range of Motion program, where, as obvious as the title suggests, you actually increase the range of motion, and in doing so, you vary it over the cycle. And let's have a look. You would first start with the floor press. Let's say your commencing poundage for that is 150 pounds. And you're performing 3 to 4 sets of 12 reps. Well, after a few weeks, you would be using 180 pounds for 3 to 4 sets for about 10 to 12 reps. And at that point, let's say that is the end of your cycle. Now you would move to the bench press. And as I mentioned earlier, you would move back to the original or commencing poundage for the floor press and now apply it on the bench press. Now your bench press, let's say before it was 130 pounds, now it's 150 pounds, 3 to 4 sets for 10 to 12 reps, because you've developed your tendon and ligament strength using the floor press. And after a few weeks of performing the bench press, you should find that you basically increase in your ability to bench press. And now you're doing 170 pounds for 3 to 4 sets for 10 to 12 reps, which is a 20-pound jump. Now to go further, now you move on to the incline press. Again, you would use the commencing poundage, 150 pounds, and perform 3 to 4 sets of 10 to 12 reps. And you would want to try and increase at least 10 to 15 pounds on your incline press over the few weeks and perform 3 to 4 sets of 10 to 12 reps. Now that you've reached the end of the cycle, you go back to the floor press. And because you've slowly increased the range of motion and therefore increase the strength of your ligaments and tendons slowly over time, as well as the musculature, when you go back to the floor press, you should be able to use much more poundage, a good 20-pound increase. So now we're talking about 200 pounds for 3 to 4 sets of 10 to 12 reps. And you would continue again. You would do a new cycle of this varying the range of motion program. It's a very intelligent and well thought out plan given here by Alan Steffen, slowly adapting, slowly allowing the body and the joints to adapt, which is so important to prevent injury. And it's a very safe way of getting very, very strong in your joints, which is so important for developing strength. By gradually increasing the range of motion, you slowly increase the strength in your tendons and ligaments, and this allows for greater poundage. It's a very, very intelligent program. And using this program, Alan Steffen worked up to a 375-pound bench press. So it really does say a lot. This is a natural lifter from the 40s. So it's an amazing accomplishment from Alan Steffen. 375 pounds natural back then. Incredible. Now, after studying this and really thinking about it, I have my own further suggestions. For example, one could also use the close grip bench press after the floor press as an in-between exercise before commencing the bench press, if you're going to want to go extra safe and really target those triceps, because of course the close grip bench press allows for very heavy poundage and it works the triceps very, very heavily, and in doing so you really strengthen your ability to bench press. This is not uncommon knowledge, by the way. It's used a lot by powerlifters. It's well known for powerlifters that you need to increase the strength of your triceps and your shoulders to improve your bench press. It's the only way. Another substitute, for example, for the floor press, if you don't want to sit on the, lie on the floor, you could use the decline press instead, because it is a lot similar to the floor press in that it decreases the range of motion greatly when you're pressing, and again allows for very heavy poundage, and that really is the key. The more poundage you can handle, in a shorter range of motion, your tendons and ligaments strengthen slowly, and then by increasing the range of motion slowly and going back to the bench press, you'll find that your body has adapted, and again the poundage should go up in the movement. It all has to do again with the kinetic chain, with improving your strength in your joints and your musculature in the series, first the triceps, then the shoulders, and then the chest. As simple as that. Finally, I'd like to dedicate this video and my previous one to George Hackenschmidt, who's somewhere up there in lifters heaven, and a big thank you to George Hackenschmidt, the creator of both the hack squat and the person who really popularized the supine press with his records. If it wasn't for men such as George Hackenschmidt that inspired the men of the bronze and silver era and even the golden era, we wouldn't have these methods that still live on today and allow me to share them with you. So again, big thank you to the great George Hackenschmidt. May your name live on forever. As much as this video has been a tribute to George Hackenschmidt, I also hope that you've enjoyed it and that you've learned something and can maybe apply the program given by Alan Stephan on the adapted use, the evolved use of Hackenschmidt's supine press. Hope you've enjoyed watching this video. Hope it's been informative. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't to the Golden Era Bookworm. Thanks for watching, and leave me your comments. You can support my work by donating via PayPal or joining and becoming a patron on www.patreon.com/Golden Era Bookworm, where you have an online library of articles such as this original article written by Alan Stephan, as well as photos and rare books. You can also purchase the books separately, such as George Hackenschmidt's The Way to Live, an excellent bodybuilding book, on my website www.goldenerabookworm.com. That's it for me. This is the Golden Era Bookworm. Bye for now. Visit www.goldenerabookworm.com for books on the bronze era of bodybuilding, such as Professor Attila's 5-pound dumbbell exercise booklet, Eugene Sandow's chest expander course, and just uploaded now, The Way to Live by George Hackenschmidt. If you've enjoyed this video, you can purchase his book, The Way to Live in Health and Physical Fitness, right now on www.goldenerabookworm.com.